Hello everyone and welcome to Therbate Hunters. This time, the star of the show is Dreadking Rathalos, one of the most sought after monsters on this Monster Hunter iteration. This annoying little will spend most of the time in the air outside of your reach, so if you let him dictate the rules of the fight, be ready to face an incredibly exasperating encounter. Don't worry though, instead of relying entirely on his openings, we'll show you how to reliably create your own ones. So stay with us and learn how to massively reduce the difficulty of this monster. This chart represents the damage.
Wait, this is nice and all, but it doesn't reflect the reality. When you start a fight with Dreadking, this is the weakness chart that you should follow. In order to understand why, let's skip this section for a while, we'll return later and jump straight to the strategy. The key for a smooth Dreadking fight is minimizing the amount of time that he spends in the air. Until you break at least one wing, flash bombs won't work. So our maximum priority is to break one wing as soon as possible. To achieve this, the easiest way is to use the lockdown method. Trapping is the most popular one because everybody has access to it. In that sense, Pitfall Trap is recommended because it lasts longer. As soon as he falls into a trap, go for one wing and wait it until it's broken. You'll notice it because of the audio cue, broken parts of the wing flying, and the tip getting detached. Dreadking isn't the most collaborative monster to trap though. Placing your trap wisely will allow you to reduce the time wasted trying to lure him. Another quick way to break his wing early is mounting him, especially with aerial style. One of the wings will move vertically, so it's harder to reach. So go for the other one. Another way of locking Dreadking down is via status. KO, paralysis, and/or sleep can get the job done really well. If you go for a sleep, remember to tell your teammates to bring bombs and detonate them in one wing. Make sure that the waking up hit comes from a bomb, as they get twice the damage when waking up monsters. We highly recommend using one of these lockdown methods to break one of his wings as soon as possible. It's entirely possible to break it without them though, especially with gunner weapons. Once a wing is broken, flash bombs will knock Dreadking out of the air, exposing all of his weak spots for quite a while. As a bonus, Dreadking will always resume the fight on the ground after a flash bomb knockout, where he has actual openings that can be exploited. Just remember that the flash bombs have an effective range. Even though it's quite wide, it's not infinite. If you throw it from too far, it will have no effect. Also, remember that the monster must see the flash bomb for it to work. Throwing it where he can see it will have no effect. Lastly, be aware that flash bombs don't work while a smoke bomb is active. Rathalos' family are called the King of the Skies, and Dreadking really lives up to this reputation. If you don't remedy it, he'll spend the majority of the flight in the sky. But we can use this to our advantage and turn it against him. As soon as he flies, unsheath your weapon and be ready to throw a flash bomb. While you can still hit it if your weapon has range, you'll deal way more damage by exploding a flash bomb, especially if you are not soloing. Plus the fight will be way less frustrating and much easier if you minimize his flight time. Gunners can choose to stay in shit, as they can still hit really heavy Dreadking while he's flying. Let's talk about positioning now. Dreadking Rathalos' most dangerous attack all come from the front. They deal a lot of damage and come with little to no tail, so avoid staying in front of him. Staying in front of him and overcommitting are the two main reasons for cards against Dreadking, so please do not stay in front of him. And do not overcommit, and not only with attacks, also with things like healing and sharpening. Wait for an opportunity. If you play on his flanks or even inside him, you will avoid most of his bullshit. Dreadking Rathalos is far from being a punching bag though, be quick to react. Also, avoiding staying in front of him doesn't mean that you can hit his head. You can still hit it safely laterally, and from the inside.
Don't obsess about hitting his head while he's on the ground. You'll hit it often enough with flash bombs.
Hitting his legs, tail or belly from inside is safer. And as a side bonus, if you trip him, you'll create a big opportunity for all the players. Just be aware that normally, green sharpness will bounce against the legs. Lastly, when Dreadking is on the air, move perpendicular to him. That way, you'll be able to avoid anything that he can throw at you and minimize the awkward camera angles.
Now, once we have already broken a wing, let's check again its weaknesses. This chart represents the damage that each hit zone takes for every weapon and element type. Try to hit the ones with higher modifiers. In this case, for Dreadking, those are the head firstly, and then neck, tail and back if you are playing as a Blade Master. As stated before, the head is not the safest target to reach, but luckily, every time he falls down, he exposes it for a long time. As a gunner, you will be able to hit him more often when he's flying without relying on flash bombs, but you will have to cope with terrible hit zones in return. If you are into explosions, remember that explosive shots such as crack or blast deal fixed damage ignoring the hit zones. Lastly, regarding elemental damage, he's most vulnerable to dragon, follow it by lightning. Dreadking has a nasty roar that can render you immobile while he throws a jumping fireball directly at his feet. If it catches you in bad position, get out of the way ASAP. And be careful, the lingering hitboxes extends very widely and can hit you farther than what it could seem. Take advantage that, after throwing the fireball, he always ends up in the air. Knock him down with a flash bomb. Be aware though, he travels quite a bit backwards while launching the fireball. Take this in consideration or you may end up throwing the flash bomb too far. Always adjust your aim so that after the jump, he is still facing the light explosion. Let's see a few examples from different angles. You don't even need air plugs to exploit this opening. See how our hunter still has his weapon drawn? As long as you press the unsheath button before the roar stuns you, you will appear unsheathed once you recover. This gives you plenty of time to catch him with a flash bomb. Just be aware that there are two moments where he will not fly after a roar. First one is after he wakes from sleep. And second one is when he doesn't have aggro and notices a hunter. This move has a lot of wind up. He will charge the move for quite a while before finally releasing a fireball in the form of a rock. This rock will generate a fire area around it, and after a while it will explode in an expanding nova. Standing in the area will slowly deplete your health, and if you don't get out of it in time, the explosion will hurt a lot. He can also do it in the air, but in any case, the visual cue will always be purple sparks mixed with his flame. And he always ends up in the air, so be prepared to knock him down with a flash bomb. you have plenty of time to get out of the area. If you sheath as soon as you detect the tell, you will be able to throw a flash bomb and still run to safety in time. Just be aware that his head may fall within the area of effect of the explosion, so go for exposed parts to avoid getting hit by the nova. Lastly, remember to throw the flash bomb where he will see it and take into account that he jumps backwards. Due to the time needed to set up, both the Roar and the Wrath Nova are the most reliable ways to catch him with a flash bomb. That said, almost everything that he does while flying can be countered with a flash bomb. Be it an attack, or a hovering or idle animation. A reliable method to knock him down consistently when he is too close to you is to give him your back and throw away the flash bomb. The explosion radius will make him fall next to you.
If Dreadking tilts his head with fire, he will try to bite you 2 times. The first bite will be towards his left, and the second one will be towards his right. And when he's enraged, he will do a third bite toward his left. Don't be in his trajectory or you get hit and burn. There are multiple ways to avoid it. You can get out its range and punish the end of the animation, follow him from behind, stay under him, and when you get used to its range, you can enter between bites and anticipate where he'll be in any moment. He will leave his head with flames covering his mouth and spit a fireball in front of him. After that, he will stay still while shaking his head a few times, so use this opportunity to deal some damage. The fireball will go in a straight trajectory from his mouth, so just step aside and avoid it. His recovery animation is a good chance to go for the head. Just try to not overcommit, as he can follow with an insta-fireball. In that sense, as a gunner, you don't have to worry that much about this possibility, as you can play it from a safer distance. Don't go full sniper though, always hit him from critical distance. Lastly, if you attack from behind or the sides, you can hit him during the wall animation. Much as a regular Wrath, he can do 2 tail spins in quick succession. To avoid it, there are several ways. You can stay outside its range and squeeze a hit or 2 after the second turn. You can mow through it, remember to wait until the last moment to evade through the tail. Or you can hide under him or next to his legs, as he won't be able to reach you there. This move locks him in place for a while, so gunners can exploit it very easily.
By far, his most dangerous move is the jumping insta-fireball that he throws with little to no tail. He can throw it out of nowhere and can even slightly rectify its trajectory while jumping. There's not really much that you can do, just try to stay as less as possible in front of him and don't overcommit. Be especially aware if he does this dashing and sudden stop animation. Keep moving to avoid the incoming attack. Also, even if a charge is a tempting opportunity to try to punish its turn, he can follow with an insta fireball and get you while you are sold, so think it twice. The other dangerous move that you should be aware of is his talon attack. From idle, he will propel forward with his talons and poison you if hit. To avoid it, move perpendicularly to him. If you see him gaining height, be prepared because the talons will have striking incorporated. If you can't block it nor have an evasion hunter ready, panic dive just in case. Lastly, be aware that he can stun you with wind pressure and do some nasty things to you while you are stunned. The moves that you are seeing don't have good window of punishment or are better countered with flash bombs. As encouraged during the guide, just avoid them by not standing in front of him. Gunners can squeeze a hit if fitted.
With flash bombs being so important with fighting Dreadking, you might think that Dreadking 7 could be a nightmare. But don't worry, we've got you covered and we'll show you how to turn this quest into a pretty much run-of-the-mill Dreadking fight. In order to achieve that, let's make sure we set up appropriately before the quest. First, make sure someone in the party is for feline supplier. Not only you'll have an extra trap and more healing supplies, but you'll also have more than double the amount of flash bombs available. Those should be more than enough, especially if you use them wisely. You don't have the backup of combines, so don't risk on 13 throws, and in case of doubt, aim for roars and wrath novas. The second step of the preparation is to slot the armor skill, Capture Guru, somewhere in the party. It will allow you to detect when the monster is ready for capture as long as it's painted, so be sure to refresh the paint bolt every now and then. As for the actual fight, our first priority doesn't change. We'll make sure to break one wing as soon as possible. As you have limited supplies, we recommend two options. Either use one of the two traps available, or go for a weak mount on Area 8. Fighting near the ledges or with aerial style will speed up the process. Let's switch to the host perspective to see the break. Remember to focus on the static wing if you go for a mount. And remember, after the wing is broken, you can proceed normally with all the tips and tactics explained in the guide. If you are on Capture Guru duty, be sure to pay attention to the monster marker in the map. And let your teammates know that the monster is ready for capture as soon as it blinks. Lastly, there's more than enough time to clear the quest, so take it slowly if needed. Just remember to be a little bit more conservative due to the limited healing supplies. And remember the two core ideas: do not stay in front of him and do not overcommit. Alternatively, if you are only after the tickets, you can farm them at Dreadking 9 with a respectable chance.
First tip, bring combines to make more flash bombs. You will need bomb casings and flashbacks, and some combo books to leave your combination success rate. 4 of them will warranty 100% success rate, but 2 should be more than enough. 2 of them will grant you also a 100% Mega Potion success rate, so it's a nice number to bring without wasting too much space. Second tip, you can apply the things covered in this guide to annihilate all the other members of the Rathalos family. Yes, that includes the feared Hyper Cyber Rathalos. Just remember the switched weak zones and that you don't need to break a win for flash bombs to work. Lastly, you can even apply what has been explained about flash bombs to other flying monsters that aren't immune to them. Third tip, don't assume that your teammates will break a wing for you. Do it yourself to ensure that it's broken as soon as possible. Fourth tip. As soon as he's flying, sheath and prepare a flash bomb. You and your teammates will deal way more damage from a knockdown than what you'd do by trying to hit him in the air. Fifth tip. If his wing is already broken and he falls in a pitfall trap, consider holding back a little so that you can catch him with a flash bomb when he frees himself from the trap. As long as you have teammates, it will result in an overall DPS increase. Last tip. Dreadking's weapons aren't stellar, but his armor is one of the best full subs in the whole game. And it doesn't even look half bad. Once upgraded, it comes with Weakness Exploit, High Grade Air Plugs and Dreadking Soul, which is the equivalent of Attack Upel plus Windproof Hide. Between charms and weapon slots, you can add almost any single skill of your choice. And if you want to use weapons without the slots, such as Hellblade weapons, or have poor charms, you can swap the helm for the cap to still retain Dreadking Soul and free the torso to have more freedom when building.